Hey everybody, how are you? So welcome to another session of our Facebook live chat. It's February 19th, 2017. Of course it's 2017, that's why we're doing a lot of this series. So welcome to today's chat. For those who don't know me, my name is Yvonne, Ruke Akpoveta. I'm a change motivator, author, change consultant, and change leadership coach. I'm excited to be with you today. And so before we get started, one of the things I want to do is ask for your patience in advance. So I'm trying out a new software for Facebook Live. I don't know how it's going to go. I hope it's going well. If you can see me, if you can hear me, I just want you to give me some hearts, give me some likes, give me some thumbs up. I want to know that you're with me. So, hey everybody, how are you? You know, so give me some thumbs up, give me some, just comments so I can know you're there. So like I said, you might hear some, things may go a little bit clunky today, but bear with me. I'm just gonna do that. Okay. Are we there? But bear with me. I'm just gonna... Okay. So it's all the clunkiness going on that I warned you about. I just want to know you guys are there. Okay. Okay. So we'll go ahead and get started. Test things as we go. So today's topic is your hidden self. How well do you know yourself? That's my question to you today. Your hidden self, how well do you know yourself? So for some of you that were on the page, I promised I was going to share with you a story today, some type of faux pas. So do look forward to that. I'm going to share with you guys. So today's topic is all about self-awareness. Self-awareness of who you are as a person. You know, self-awareness of the resources that you have at your disposal to be able to use to achieve your goals. You know, self-awareness about how you can use that knowledge to your advantage and what do you need to do and how can you go about it. So today I want to talk a little bit about that. And for those who might be saying, okay, how do I become more self-aware about any of those things? I will also be talking about that with you today. So before we proceed, I want us to do a little bit of self-check, you know, like a spot check in terms of how are we doing with our goals. So for me, some goals are going very well. Some goals I'm struggling with. But I want to hear from you guys. How are you doing with your goals this year so far? How is 2017 going? I need you to put your comments in there. Share with me. Tell me a little bit about how your goals are going. I want to hear from you. You know, so think about it. So some of the questions that I have for you that I want you to answer is that what goals have you set for yourself this year to achieve? And how close would you say you are to achieving those goals? So nowhere near, nearly there. Just put in the comment box there. Let me know how you're feeling about it. And if you're feeling really good about your goals right now, you can just throw some hearts there and tell me all about it. So looking at the scale as well, I want to say how happy are you or how are you feeling about where you are with your goals? And this is all about self-awareness. You know, you might be thinking, what's this got to do with it? But I want us to start pausing in everything we do and reflect in terms of where are we at? Where are we going? So put in your comments there. Tell me how you're feeling. You know, we started with February, all excited about our goals. We probably said to ourselves, this year is going to be different. It's not going to be like the other years. This year, I'm going to make it happen, you know. But how are we feeling? It's February. How are we feeling? Have we given up? Are we struggling and losing some momentum? Or are we so totally focused on our goals and motivated? So which one are you? 1, 2, or 3? So 1, have you given up on those goals that you set for yourself at the beginning of the year? Are you number 2? Are you struggling and losing some momentum? Or are you number 3? Are you totally focused and motivated? I know you guys are probably just knocking it out of the ballpark, and making your goals happen. But I want to hear from you. Tell me how you're feeling. How you're feeling is really about, and that's why I want to share a different strategy with us today. I know we've heard things about having clarity, having an accountability partner. We spoke about accountability partner at our last session. So today's session, I want to take it a little bit different. So I want to introduce you today to what I refer to, not what I refer to, but I want to introduce you today to the Johari model. So the Johari window model. So this is going to be kind of like our foundation for today. I want to, if you look at the box there, you see that it tells us a little bit about, the various selves, your known self, your blind self, your hidden self, and your unknown self. So this tool really intrigues me, and it's the premise for what we're going to talk about today. Today, we're going to focus on the blind self and the unknown self. And maybe a little bit about the known self that you may not be tapping into. But I want us to really go into our hidden self, those resources, those strengths, being more aware of ourselves to be able to help us to achieve our goals. So my focus today is the blind self and the unknown self. And like I said, maybe a little bit of the known self. So that's what we're going to talk about today when we speak about the Johari window. So that's a little bit about how the Johari window looks. It's more of a self-awareness tool and team building tool, but we're using it for self-awareness today. If you want to learn more about the Johari window, you can go to Google, drop a comment there, tell me you want to learn more about it, and I will post a link for you. So I usually will go back to the comments, answer people's questions, so whatever question you have, type it in. I will try to answer those questions. So, looking forward to answering those questions that you have. So that's what the Johari window looks like. And like I said, we're going to talk more about the hidden self. So now I want us to pause and reflect for a second about self-awareness. Think to yourself, why are you not getting what it is you want? So if you said you've been struggling a little bit with what you're doing, if there are goals that you've been trying to achieve and you're not quite there yet, or if there are certain things you really want to do and make sure that this year you really succeed and make a difference, I want to share with you another strategy today. But pause for a second and reflect. And really pause and reflect. Think on these questions I'm about to ask you. Why are you not getting to where it is you want? Why probably are you struggling with your goals? Or what can you do differently to achieve those goals? So think about your environment and your location. Is your environment or your location, is it affecting what you do? Or think about your past. Do you feel as though your past is holding you back? Maybe your background, where you came from, your lack of education, or maybe even too much education, it's holding you back. Or are you stopping yourself from achieving what it is you want? Is it within you that is stopping you, really? And again, it comes back to the hidden self. And that's what I want us to discover today. That are we the ones holding ourselves back? Or is it our environment that is holding us back? Or is it our past that is holding us back? What is holding us back? Or is it our managers in the office or our bosses in the office? Or is it the lack of funds? What is holding us back? So I did promise you guys that I was going to share a story today. So I want to share a story with you. A friend, unfortunately or fortunately for her, gave me this awesome story to share with you. There we were talking, and she said to me, she said she should share with me. She said, you know what? I feel very pained. That was the word she used. She said, I feel very pained, about my university degree, my, bachelor's degree in university. I went there for 4 years. I studied maths, and, all the lecturers were focused on was, selling us handouts or promoting their own agenda. And they never really told us what we could do with the subject that we were studying, which is maths. That it was only until years later that she bumped into somebody who had done the maths as well, and they were doing modeling. That had she known that she could do modeling with the maths at that point in time, that she would have done that as well. She would have studied maths. Should have studied modeling or gone into modeling. I said, okay, really? I now went on to ask her, so what did you do after university? She now went to, I went to an international university, studied, business systems and design, something along those, along that line. And I said, okay, but was there modeling within it? She said, yes, there was modeling. So I said, why didn't you do modeling then? Why didn't you pick it up? At least you were more familiar with modeling then. She said, well, she knew about it, but she didn't really do anything. And then I said, okay, over the years now, when you bumped into this other person and they told you about modeling, why didn't you pick up modeling? Why didn't you do modeling? She's like, well, it is something that she plans on doing, but she hasn't done it yet. And then I'm saying, then why are you feeling pain about, the situation that you went through at university? You've had a few chances after university. So would you really have made a difference if during university you found out about, the cause on, about being able to do modeling or not? Would you have done it if your lecturer had told you about it? If your lecturer had provided you more career guidance? So, her issue now was that her lecturer hadn't provided her with enough career guidance for her to know that she would have liked to do modeling. But it's been over, 30 years since then, since, she's found out there's something like modeling, but she hasn't done modeling. So my question to you guys, and I did say I wanted you to help me judge this matter, is it her lecturer's responsibility or fault that she hasn't been able to do modeling up until now? Where does it lie? So she's known about modeling now since she's finished university, but she hasn't been able to do it now. Why does she not have a career in modeling? And just to add, she has a very successful career in terms of what she's doing at the moment. But why does she not have a career in modeling? I really want to get your thoughts. So I've shared this, story or case study with you. She didn't get, her lecturer didn't provide her guidance to know that she could do modeling by studying maths. But she went on to do a master's where she learned about modeling, bumped into somebody later in the years that told her about modeling. She loves the concept of modeling and reads books on modeling, but she's still not doing it and feeling very pained that her career, that her lecturer did not tell her about it. So my question to you guys is, why has she not started a career in modeling? Whose responsibility is it? Why? So I want you to put your comments there. I want to hear about how you're feeling, when it comes to this. So tell me about it, in terms of that. So I want to see some comments. If you have any comments, just put it down there so we can look at it. And as you put the comments, I hope you're taking notes. I want you to really pause, reflect and think about it. Think about how you're feeling generally. Okay, so as one of the things that we do as individuals, I find, is that there's so many things whereby it's very easy to lay the blame at the feet of others while we're not doing certain things. So maybe growing up, while we were younger, we could blame the system, or we could blame our parents. We could blame where we were born, for our circumstances or our situation. There's so many reasons that we might not be doing what it is that, we really want to do. In my book, which is Change Your Mindset, and Change Your Life, one of the things that I talk about, I give some questions for us to pause, dig deep, and reflect. I talk about when things go wrong, do we lay the blame at on others, why things are not going as well as we want? Are we blaming our environment? So there's a whole chapter there where I talk about, the responsibility that we need to sometimes take, or what that we need to start taking for some of the decisions that it is that we're making. So when going on, about this, at what age, one of the questions I thought about as I was putting this together is that, what age do we get to? We need to learn about ourselves and understand what is stopping us from doing what it is that we really need to do. So take, for instance, I have knee issues, and one of the goals that I have is to try and lose weight, is to lose weight this year. That's a big goal for me, one of my key goals. And but my knees are hurting me, and not that I like to go running, but I do go running and walking. But now that my knees are hurting me and I can't run as much as I need to be running, am I going to blame my knees for not being able to lose weight? I don't think so. I may not be able to take a walk as I would love to. I may not be able to run because of my knees. And then if that's the situation, I think to myself, then maybe I better be more in control of the steps that I'm taking towards the fridge or the pantry, or, be more conscious of what I'm eating. There is always a solution. I have to learn more about myself. So if there's something that is stopping me from achieving my goals, I need to understand what are those things that are really stopping me from achieving my goals. And are they real, or are they really excuses? Are they things that we can overcome? Or are they things that are truly stopping us from doing what we need to do? So I really need us to start to, again, pause for a second and let's reflect on it. Think about all the things that you feel are stopping you from achieving your goals. How real are those things? Are they really in our mind? The other day, last week, I needed to make some calls. You know what I did? I looked for every reason why I shouldn't make those calls. I did every operational stuff that I needed to do. I did all the paperwork that needed to be done. I, set up everything that needed to be done. I kind of did everything but make those calls. And I kept on saying, oh yeah, the reasons why I haven't made that call is because I'm doing this and I'm doing that. But I sat back for a second and I had to think to myself, really, why are you not doing those things that you know you need to do? So now you may be struggling with your goals. You may be thinking, how am I going to get that business started? I don't have the resources. I don't have the finances. I don't have the help. I don't have the knowledge. Or you may be thinking that I want to progress in my career. I need a promotion, but nobody's going to promote me. I'm not going to get the kind of job because I don't have the connections. I don't have the resources I need. But I really need you to stop for a second and reflect and say, how true is what you're saying? Are they excuses you're giving yourself, or are they real? How well do you know yourself, and what is holding you back? What is holding you back from getting to where it is that you need to be? Think on that for a second. And that's where, there are various things that come into play that we can start to do to help us identify those items. So it could be like a self-assessment. So I share this sample of a self-assessment with you. It could be, it comes from one of the books I have. I have 2 workbooks on career development and business development. So this is in the career development book I have. It talks about knowing yourself. What are the things that you're passionate about that put a light in your eyes or put a pep in your steps? What are the values and priorities you have? What motivates you? And what are those natural skills or things that you enjoy doing and working with? Think of those things. Those are the kind of self-assessments that it is you need to do in terms of, really understanding yourself a little bit more so that you can get to where it is that you need to be. There's so many other tools out there that include the DISC, Colors, Colby. There are quite a few tools out there. If you've used DISC or Colors or Colby, if you've used any self-assessment tool, I want to hear about it. Just drop it in the box. I'm all one for self-assessment. I think I've done so many self-assessments, but I'm all big on self-awareness. So it's important to me. So I tend to do self-assessments here and there to help me to get to where it is that I need to be. Getting to know yourself and helping you to succeed is simple things like knowing if you're an introvert or you're an extrovert. That would help. If you know that you're an introvert, perhaps you don't like doing networking events. And if that's a key thing that would help you with your career, then you have to find an alternative. Maybe because, everybody talks about you have to be able to network in order to move forward in your career. I have a few friends, or I know some colleagues who it's through networking they've been able to progress in their career. I network. I'm more like borderline introvert, extrovert, but I'm not big on saying I want to be able to network in order to move up the ladder in my career. I'd rather do a very good job and brand myself properly and stand out and shine in order to be able to move forward in my career and get to where it is I want to. And that was my strategy most of the time. When I, in the corporate world, it was by doing an excellent job, shining in what I did, and I progressed that way. Some other people network to get to where it is that they want to be. So you have to understand yourself and know what type of person am I? What can I do ideally? Because if you're an introvert, and you decide to go pick up on a strategy that somebody has put out there saying that, you have to do a lot of networking to be able to succeed, you're going to struggle with that. Every time you think about a networking event, you're just going to go there for the sake of it. You're going to stand around in the corner. You're not going to do what needs to be done usually at a networking event. So by understanding yourself and knowing the type of person you are, you begin to find the best way for you to do what it is that will help you succeed, as opposed to using formulas that other people have. Because so many people have formulas. Do A, B, C, D, and you get here. Or do 1, 2, 3, 4, and you get there. But by the time you start to follow a lot of formulas that people have out there, you lose your authenticity. You struggle with doing that thing, and then you struggle with your goals or being who you need to be to get to where it is that you are. Another way that you can learn more about yourself is to ask a trusted person. Ask a friend, somebody that you really trust that will tell you the truth. I love feedback. So I like to hear about, if I do something that may not have gone well, or just every now and then I just ask people, what do you think about this? Or give me some feedback. I love appraisal systems because it lets me know how well I'm doing or not. So that was something that I loved when I was in the corporate world. I need feedback. Tell me how I'm doing so I can do better. However, if you get feedback from your trusted friend, from a colleague, from your manager, from anybody, how prepared are you to listen to the hard truth it is they're telling you and not be in denial? The other day, some person, was saying, she was so upset in terms of how people were treating her. So she asked a friend of hers, am I like this? Am I like this? Have I ever done this? Why are you acting this way? And the friend was very honest with her and told her, yes, you are actually like this. You have actually done this, and this is how you behave. And guess what? The person who was receiving the feedback, she was so upset that she said, I'll talk to you later. I'll talk to you later. And she dropped the phone. So if people gave you feedback to say maybe, you talk too much, or that you keep giving excuses, or that you're not committed to your goals, or you do this or that, what would you say? Would you accept that as feedback, that you take a step back to pause and reflect and say, what can I do differently? Or would you be in denial? What if people told you you're brilliant, you're capable, you're talented, give you really positive feedback? Would you believe them? Would you take that feedback and run with it? because you will get positive feedback as well. But what would you do with that positive feedback you're getting? Some people, yes, they want to hear the negative feedback of, what they may not be doing well, but are they willing to hear feedback on how well they're doing and what are some of the things that they need to be doing differently? Some other self-assessments I want to share with you is about finding your strengths. It's about, how do I put this? Once you are able to do those assessments, or once you're able to get that feedback, the next step would be knowing yourself a little bit better. It comes now down to you understanding what type of person are you really. So I have something here which is called recognizing your 3 S's. Again, this comes from the template in my book, in my workbook that I have on career. Recognizing your 3 S's, your strengths, your skills, your style. By doing some of these things, you're better able to know what kind of goals should I really be pursuing? What kind of career should I really be pursuing? Because I'll say it, quite rightly, there are some goals that we're pursuing that we would never achieve those goals because we shouldn't even be going after those goals in the first place because they're not suited to our skills, our strengths, our styles in terms of the way we do things. So that's a question that I have for you. Do you know what your 3 S's are? Do you know what your skills, your strengths, your style is? Do you know what those things are to help you be able to achieve your goals and do what it is that you need to be doing? Another thing that I want to talk about is your SWOT analysis. So if anybody had a SWOT analysis, anybody done something like a personal SWOT analysis? If you've ever done a SWOT analysis or a personal one, I want to hear what your experience is. Type it on there. So SWOT stands for your strengths, your weaknesses, and opportunities. So this is what your personal SWOT would look like. Is what are the strengths you have? Take a step back and identify. So we spoke about the 3 S's, but I really want you to think, what are some of your strengths? Start to figure out about your hidden self. So earlier when we looked at the Johari model, we spoke about, I didn't go deep into the Johari model, but you had what you call your hidden self. So you have, the self that everybody knows, you know about yourself. You have that self, which is I'll just go back there and show you a little bit for those who may have missed it. So you have your known self, which are things that you know about yourself and others know about you. You have your blind self, things others know about us that we do not know. And we have our hidden self, things that you know about yourself that others do not, and things, your unknown self, and which are things that neither you nor others know about you. And I said today that we wanted to focus on our hidden self. So talking about our blind self, things that others know about us that we may not know about ourselves. And that's why we need to get feedback. Or the unknown self. Those are things that we want to talk about, things that neither we know about ourselves or others know about us. We want to be able to focus on those things that are maybe holding us back because they're hidden within, or those things that we're blind to that is holding us back, that people know about it. And even sometimes our known self, there are things that we know about ourselves, but we may be in a little bit of denial about those things. And that's why I go back and I talk about, the SWOT analysis. The SWOT analysis is something that I want us to really focus on. So here it is again. Think about your strengths, your weaknesses. What are those things that are personal barriers to stopping you from moving forward? What are those opportunities that surround you? Think about those things. Pause for a second, think about it. What are the threats that surround you, things that could possibly interrupt you in terms of you having to achieve your goals? So take a second. I want you to write those things down. I want you to pause and reflect. I don't want us to just run through the session and it's just another session, but I want us to be able to get some things out of this. Those things that may be holding us back. What's your personal SWOT analysis? I'll tell you a little bit of when we talk about strengths or when we talk about opportunities we have, that's where I want us to talk about things that tapping into those resources that we have within us to succeed, but we're not even leveraging it because we don't know our strengths. We don't know what our weaknesses are. We don't know those opportunities that surround us. So it could be about even the education and knowledge we have. I'm working on a project. And here I am, for the longest time, I've been into organizational change management, project management, coaching, and speaking. And in this project I was working on, I was looking for a marketing person. I need a marketing person. And I was telling everybody I could think of that I need a marketing person. And I still need a marketing person, somebody that will help me with the marketing on this project, social media marketing, digital marketing, and even the traditional type of marketing. But one of the things that I had within me, or a strength I had within me, or even an opportunity that I could use, was that I have a marketing background. I have done work in marketing, but I had easily put that to the corner and put that to the side, that marketing that I had done in the past. Because I studied it, as part of my undergraduate degree, I studied it as part of my MBA. So I'd never been in what you call a pure marketing role. So I felt that I did not have, what it took to do some of these things that I was trying to do. So I wanted, marketing professional to come in and do it. But while looking for that marketing professional to come in and do it, guess what? I decided, I can't keep on waiting for that. I remembered, I dug deep within and said, you do have some of this marketing background. You have done some marketing in the past. So while waiting for the marketing professional that you need and sorting things out, why don't you start on the marketing yourself? Instead of waiting weeks and months to get what it is you want. And I started to do the marketing myself. I put out, I had already put the digital marketing strategy together, and I started to execute on it for some of what I wanted to do. And the good thing about that was that in putting my marketing strategy out there, I got an awesome lead. I've been chasing this lead, looking for how I can get connected to this organization so that they could help with some of the work that I was doing. I'd been, calling everybody I knew to say, who knows them, who knows this organization. But through that marketing that I decided that I was going to start anyway, the lead I was looking for came after me because they saw the marketing we had out there. So that's just an example sometimes of that hidden talent or hidden knowledge that we have on the inside of us. Or even the networks that we have around us. We've been to college, we've been to university, we've worked in different jobs, we've gone to different networking events, we've met different people in our lives. That means that we have such an awesome and great network of people around us. Have you ever considered that to be an opportunity for what it is you want to do if you're a business person? Or even if it was in your career that you wanted to network and progress in your career? Or if maybe there's something that you're looking for out there. LinkedIn is an awesome thing. So if you connect with people on LinkedIn and you start to scroll through your contacts, you start to see, I do know somebody that works in this organization. I do know this person. This person is doing what it is that I want to do. So we have such an awesome network around us of things that we could do and things that we should be doing. There is that untapped potential within us. There is those untapped skills within us, the untapped opportunities within us. Sometimes we just have to trust our abilities and what we already have on the inside of us to go out there and make it happen. We sometimes underestimate ourselves, and that's why I say feedback. Feedback is important. Feedback that will provide us, positive feedback, as well as some of the challenges that we have that we may need to work on. So that's some of the things of why it's important for us to truly know ourselves and work on those things that it is that we need to be working on. So now that you know yourself, what would you say is the value of knowing yourself? How can that really help us move forward? It helps us to move forward by us knowing what next. What are those steps that we need to be taking next? We spoke earlier about our strengths, because we know ourselves well now. We know what our skills are. We know what our strengths are. We know our style. So we know what type of the best way to be pursuing our goals, or what we need to be doing in the right way. So take, for instance, let me use a goal that, say, we're all familiar with. I mentioned it earlier. I think I've mentioned in a previous discussion I've had, maybe when it comes to working, I want to focus. I want to kick off my business this year, for instance. Maybe that could be my goal. Or maybe in the past when I was trying to kick off my business. I know, simple as it may be, that if I stay at home and I don't have anything that is motivating me or is pressing me, I'm not under pressure. So I'm the kind of person that I really work well under pressure. But if there's no pressure or nothing motivating me, or I know that it's not a do or die affair, to do something, I will sit down at home and I will watch TV. I will watch TV. I'm not going to do what it is I need to do. So in those early days whereby I just wanted to kick things off, it was important to me that I would go to a Starbucks or a coffee shop and I would sit down there and do the work that I needed to do. Because if I sat down at home, I would find all reasons to go to the fridge and see what's in the fridge to eat. I would find, all those things that I needed to be doing, all the administrative work, or, that person I needed to speak to, or that TV program I needed to watch. That was the kind of person I knew I was. I could not motivate myself to work at home when I was not under pressure. So I had to find a strategy for myself to go out there and do what it is that, work in the coffee shop, because that would work for me. Then we spoke about the 3 S's. I started to find, okay, what kind of career? Well, I think about it. So if there's somebody out there, maybe you're thinking, am I on the right path in terms of what I'm doing? Should I be pursuing this career? Is this the thing I need to be doing? Then you look at your 3 S's, your skills, your strength, and your style. Do they match with what it is that you're doing? I had to go take us in my career. I write, I speak, I do things where I'm helping people. But that took me over the years to get to my sweet spot. So that's my sweet spot now, whereby I'm writing, I'm speaking, I'm training, I'm helping people, I do change consulting. But it took me having to take one step back and think, I had to look back, reflect back on what are the things that I've done in the past years. What are those things that I've enjoyed doing? What are those things that I'm passionate about? What are those things that even if I got paid or I didn't get paid, I would still just totally love to do it? How do I like to work? So I say I do some coaching, but I'm on the job type of coaching. I'm not the type, I learned, over the years that I'm not the kind of coach that would take on a client for a 1-year period. That's not my personality to do that. But I found that I still love to help people and coach people, so I could take on what you called my fast track coaching, whereby I would coach people for a 3-month period to achieve a certain goal. That was my focus, but I knew I couldn't do it over a year period. But that was learning about myself and the kind of things that I liked to do and the things that I did not enjoy doing. And so that's the kind of thing that you need to take a step back and think, what are the things you enjoy doing and what are the things that you do not enjoy doing, so that you can figure out what ideally you should be doing. Or perhaps you're thinking of, I want to start a business. You've been thinking, everybody says it's, you have to be an entrepreneur. Having the business is the best thing to do because it gives you self-independence. Everybody talks about having a career. So these are some of the example questions that are listed in my guidebook. I ask, in the first few pages is one of the questions I ask and say people need to answer before they move forward. As a business owner, you expend so much energy. You're working 24/7. You're literally working 24/7. Today I have friends that have gone out for a show and it's a big affair, but I'm here as somebody who is independent, who has her own business and who loves what she's doing, having this Facebook Live session because that's what I love to do. But as a business owner, there's going to be a lot of sacrifices that you're going to make. There are going to be loads of long hours that you're going to have to do. There are loads of sales calls you're going to have to make. You're going to have to be confident in yourself. When you start to really understand yourself and know the type of person you are, if you had a goal to start a business, you start to ask yourself, do I really want to start a business? Why am I starting a business? Is it because it's something I love to do? Is it because it's something that will provide me additional income? Is there a way that I can get this additional income that I want outside of actually starting a business? Those are some of the things that you start to do and think about when you really know yourself and you're fully aware of yourself. You start to make the right decisions in terms of what you need to do and how you need to go about it. So I have that slide there. So it lists some questions for that business owner. So if you're somebody who has been thinking about starting your business and you're struggling to know how to get started, or you keep thinking to yourself, I need some clarity in terms of moving forward, this is an awesome book that you can get, and it's a step-by-step guide that once you get through the book, you have your business plan ready, because it asks you very deep questions about what you want about your business, what you need to do in your business in order to get your business started and be where it is that you need to be. How are you feeling, guys? How are you feeling about your SWOT analysis? How are you feeling about, self-assessment, about where you're focusing your energies, that type of thing? So like I mentioned, having good self-awareness of yourself definitely will help you to focus your energy where it is you need to be focusing your energy. It helps you know what your weaknesses are. What are those weaknesses you need to work on? Identifying a weakness doesn't mean you need to work on all of those weaknesses, but it helps you know where you stand on certain issues, so you know what perhaps you need to avoid, what you could get better at, and maybe what you really need to avoid. If my weakness is my friend's cake, my friend does awesome cakes. She's a cake boss. That's what we call her. Every type of cake I can say no to, but I cannot say no to her red velvet cake. I cannot say no to her lemon cake. So guess what? I either prepare myself and I know I'm going to see her in 1 week, so I am totally good for 6 days out of the week. I really don't have any desserts. I don't have any snacks. I don't eat anything I'm not supposed to be eating, because I know that when I see her, or when I see her cakes, I'm going to want to have some of that cake, because her cakes are just yummy. I can hook you up. So if you're in the Toronto area and you need someone to do you awesome cakes, let me know. She's an awesome cake boss. So in that kind of situation, because I know what my weaknesses are, I prepare in advance. Or I know to avoid her cakes if I don't want to have any cake. If I know I have certain weaknesses around, I don't like to network, I don't like to make sales calls, I'm not an extrovert, some type of extrovert person. For me, I think I mentioned it earlier, I'm in the middle. I'm midway between being an introvert and an extrovert. If I know I don't like finances, if I know I don't like to put myself out there, if I know I don't like to be in the public eye, and then I say I want to start a business, I would have to take a second back and think whether I'm in the right field or I'm doing what I need to be doing. So knowing yourself is very key, and knowing your weaknesses are very key for you to avoid things that you know you shouldn't be doing, or help you to work on things that you need to be working on. And it goes the same way with opportunities. By taking a step back to explore, what are those skill sets that I have, whether it be my education, whether it be the knowledge I've gained over the years, whether it be my experiences, the experiences I have, whether it be the network I have, whether, you know, whatever those things are, you need to identify those things so that you can tap into it. There is so much that is out there that we're not tapping into because we don't even realize that we have it at our fingertips. There was the other time I was putting an event out, and I had, I had all the resources I need. I had an awesome lineup of speakers, and everybody kept on asking me, how are you able to get these people? Oh, you must know these people. You must have a personal relationship with them. And I said, no, I didn't really know these people or have that personal relationship with them. But I had a network of people that knew them. I had the knowledge, the skill sets to be able to reach out to them. Even if I didn't know them personally, or even if I didn't know anybody that knew them directly. The question is that we have some of these things on the inside of us, but are we using them? Are we tapping into them? Or what are those things that we need to avoid? So that's the value of having your SWOT analysis. So share with me, what are some of the struggles you have? I will take the time to go back and answer the questions one by one. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the call, I'm trying out a new software in terms of broadcasting Facebook Live. So some of the slides may not be very sharp, so you'd have to bear with me. Or maybe the lighting here might be a little bit different. It's the same lighting I've used over time when I've done my other Facebook Live videos, but just testing this new software out. So you have to be patient with me. I may not be able to answer your questions immediately, but I'm going to look at them and answer them. So if you have any questions, just put it down there and I will answer them live right now, or I will answer them, after the live call. But it's really important to me that I connect with you and hear from you. Talking about, pausing and reflecting, I want you to really take a step back now and think for 10 seconds. So we're going to have a 10-second silence. We never like silence, so we always want to keep on going. But I want us to take a second or 10 seconds and really stop for a second. Let's stop and reflect. What are those things that you consider as major obstacles that is stopping you from achieving your stated goals? Because guess what? I'm assuming you guys have your goals clearly stated out. For the last 3 calls at the beginning of the year, if you haven't heard already, I had a session where I spoke about how we can, lay out our goals and set our goals and make them smart. I spoke about it was an hour's video session talking about, setting our goals for 2017. So I know you have stated goals, So what's stopping you from achieving your goals? Is it the finances? I can't even begin to tell you how many times I've thought that finances would hold me back from achieving what it is I wanted to achieve. I thought I didn't have the money, so I wasn't going to do this. But I put myself out there without having the money or knowing what I was going to do or where I was going to get the money from. But there's this thing about when you believe you can, you put yourself out there and take the risk. Doors begin to open. The universe literally begins to act in your favor. I promise you. You just have to take that step out and dare and believe that you can do it. I can tell you for a fact, there are things that I did not think were possible that I could do, or I could own, or places I could be. But just taking that step and believing and not caring about whether I failed or I succeeded, but just pursuing what was in my heart, I have seen phenomenal success. And that's what I want for you guys. Whatever it is that is stopping you from achieving what it is you want, those obstacles, I want you to write it down and believe that you can overcome them. And that's where you need to start building on your strengths. You need to work on your weaknesses. You need to exploit the opportunities you have. You want to go out there and buy that property or investment property, and you think, with this income I only have one income, so I'm not going to be able to do it. There are so many ways you can source and find it, so many legit ways that you can make it happen. But you have to be doing something. You have to want it, and you have to understand those resources that are untapped within you. You'd be surprised, people feel, oh, I can't afford, to buy myself a property or home to move in. I was at a dinner party last night and we're talking about it. 10 years ago, something that cost about $400,000 to buy a property now costs $1.6 million. And when a couple of people really thought about it, they realized that if they had pushed themselves just a tiny little bit at that time, they would have been able to afford that property. And now they're trying to get into the market, and it's just a little bit harder because prices have gone up phenomenally. So sometimes what we can do now, or what we have the opportunity to do now, we need to do it. What excuses are you giving yourself? And what do you need to start doing today to say no more to those excuses? I have all that I need within me and on the inside of me to go out there and achieve my goals and make it happen. You can do this. I promise you. So that's it for me today. I have loved having you on today's session. Putting your questions there. I'm not going to be able to respond live, but I will go over each question and give you answers. I see a couple of people I know on there. I can see some of the comments. I will answer each of the comments individually. So just put in your comments. Ask me questions. If you're there, just put a thumbs up, say hello. Would love to hear you. Want to know that you're on here watching now. And you know what? Have an awesome week. And I will see you in the next 2 weeks. If you have any topic you want us to talk about, be sure to drop a comment and let me know. And also go subscribe. If you go to my website, you can actually subscribe and get some of the templates for free that I've spoken about today. Just go to my website, subscribe to get the free ebook, and you will be able to get all of that information. I will post it in through the comments, so be sure to check the comments. I'll post a link so that you can go get it directly. And like I mentioned, any topics you want us to talk about, be sure to post leave a comment, and I will talk about it. It's been awesome. We're just 6 minutes under the hour, and I apologize for not being able to answer questions live today, but I am going to go right now and comment on everybody's question and say hi to everybody. So until we chat again, have an awesome week. Bye, everybody.